Hey, business building warrior, thanks for checking out Silent Sales Machine Radio. Today, I've got an episode that's just me, but it's something that's on my mind after talking with our coaching director and several students and a good handful of our coaches. There's a theme in our community, and it's a bit of a rant, perhaps, that I have against the Amazon selling industry. So hang with me as I make the points I have today. You may disagree with me, but I feel like I can back up absolutely everything I'm about to say with an abundant set of facts, data, and evidence from our own community, overwhelming. Now, to set the stage a little bit, as a reminder, we've coached over 7,000 people how to succeed in e-commerce, specifically selling on Amazon the last several years. We've got the oldest course in the industry that's updated more frequently than any other course in the industry, to my knowledge, continually ranks at the top of the charts. When people look at the different options you have to learn an Amazon business, we rank extremely well. It's the only podcast that has dozens and dozens, I would say hundreds at this point, of interviews from our own successful students following the strategies we teach. That gives me, I think, the opportunity to speak to the subject that's at hand today. And that is, what's the best place to start? Or better stated, what's the most stable Amazon business model? Or stated perhaps a little more strongly than that, what is the only truly turnkey business model that's available to you as a seller if you're looking at the landscape of opportunities? Now, you've heard me talk about this before. If you've listened to several episodes of this podcast, I actually have an article that I wrote that's been popular for over a year in our Facebook group on this subject. I want to talk about private label just a little bit. And why do I talk about it so much? It's not that I don't like that model. We've actually got some incredibly successful private label sellers in our community. Some of the most successful private label stories on Amazon are people from our community. I love that model. It's a great way to make great money, to launch a new brand and a new product, to bring it to market on Amazon. Phenomenal. There's never been a time in history that represented so much opportunity in that arena. But should you start there? No, you should not. Should it be widely considered in the industry as the go-to default, most stable way to make money on Amazon? Absolutely no, it should not be, based again on facts, data, and evidence. If you take 100 students and you teach them private label with the best teachers, the best courses, the best tools, the best resources available, you're going to see maybe 10, 12 of them succeed in the end. The raw data that we see, based on the number of people that call us upset with a garage full of inventory, they've been led down a path they never should have gone down, lost tens of thousands of dollars. What we see is about a 5% success rate, because most people aren't using the best tools, the best training, the best resources. They don't have enough inventory, enough resources to carry them through the long process of doing it right. So they end up failing. So we take 100 people through that process. That's the reality. We take 100 people through the process we teach here as the starting point, as the stable model, as the best turnkey system for Amazon success. How many of those people are going to succeed? Well, assuming you put in the work, the time, the energy, and the effort, using the very simple, inexpensive tools and training that we have to offer, your success rate is going to be very high. One of the coaches on our team puts it this way. You've heard me refer to it a couple times lately. It's Robin Olson. Her and Brian are coaches on our team, doing a great job, by the way. She said it's all about low, low, high versus high, high, low. Well, what's that mean? Low, low, high versus high, high, low. Well, through all of human history, businesses typically, and I would put private label business on Amazon in this exact same category of risk. High, high, low. Let's start there. High risk, high amount of monetary resources needed, low odds of success. High, high, low. High learning curve as well. Low odds of success. Well, what does the replan model that we teach in the Proven Amazon course represent? Well, it represents low, low, high. Low monetary investment needed, low skill set needed, low set of risks that you're facing, and a very high odds of success if you follow the process. So I'm not saying no one should be doing private label. I'm not saying there's no private label success stories out there, but I am kind of calling the industry out. If these high priced courses and tools and services and coaching and all of these other resources out there are producing so many incredible success stories, where are they? Where are the podcasts that feature 2 or 3 success story students every single week who have recently succeeded using the techniques and strategies? I don't see it. If someone's out there doing it at that level, I'll partner with them and endorse them in a heartbeat. Fact is, it's just not happening. Why? Nothing against the tools, the resources, the courses, the people teaching these things. It's just the fact that there are a lot of things stacked against you, especially if you've never sold consistently online before. You don't understand the game. That's why we love teaching people how to put money in the bank while they're learning the game. And then they can very organically step into some of those great private label success stories. I certainly won't name names on this podcast. You'll never get me to do that. But some of the most exciting private label success stories in the industry who have then gone on to begin teaching these techniques and strategies are people who started in this community and followed the systems that we teach around here, began succeeding, and then they started teaching. And they learned very quickly that teaching private label is very difficult. It's certainly more hard than succeeding. It's far more difficult than succeeding at selling your own private label product. Teaching other people how to do it, it's rough. That's why you see so many people complaining, so many people throwing in the towel, so many people quitting, dropping out of Amazon because they just can't get the private label strategies, the brand launch strategies to work for them. It's not them. It's not their intelligence. It's not their level of effort. There's about 50 things you got to do right if you're going to launch a private label brand successfully. And it takes a lot of time, effort, and energy. There's a lot of things that can go wrong, just like virtually all the other business models of the world. That's why we focus on the one truly turnkey opportunity on Amazon. When I say turnkey, what do I mean by that? I mean, we have people in our community right now, coaches on our team, students you've heard interviewed on this podcast. They don't see or touch their inventory. Someone else looks for it. Someone else buys it. Someone else manages it. They're meeting the needs of underserved ASINs on Amazon. And there are, I would venture to say, millions of underserved ASINs on Amazon at any given time. What's an underserved ASIN? We call them replens. That's an ASIN or a listing on Amazon where there's more buyer volume than there is sellers supplying the product needed to keep up with that ASIN. Easily sourced product on store shelves near you, online, readily available. You could live in another country outside the United States, for example. We have many students doing this. We just launched a course. I'll stick a link to it in the show notes. That course, by the way, along with all of the other courses we ever create that have anything to do with Amazon, will be a module inside the Proven Amazon course eventually. A lot of times when we launch a new course, we roll it out for a few months. Everyone who wants to buy it fast and early can, and then it's rolled into the Proven Amazon course. That new course is at internationalaz.com. It illustrates what I'm saying right now. Internationalaz.com. You can live anywhere in the world, set up an Amazon account in the US with a US-based entity, buy and sell products in the United States on Amazon.com. Never see, never touch, never prepare your products for shipment. You just use a partner network that we have in place and you get paid by Amazon. It's a beautiful model. It can be that turnkey. We've got people who all they do is shop online. Their products are delivered to a neighbor or to a prep center. That prep center gets the products ready, sends them in. All they're doing is looking for those underserved ASINs. And we have well over a dozen different strategies for finding those underserved ASINs, those replens, as we call them. And you just set about finding the product. So what are some other advantages of this model over every other model that's out there? I know a lot of people who sell in the private label space. I know a lot of people who sell in the wholesale space. They're starting to see and feel, and have been for over a year now, the impact of the supply chain shortages and the lack of products and the lack of the natural resources even that are needed to make some of these products. So when a lot of those products are kind of drying up, the opportunities are drying up. Well, not so with underserved ASINs, because remember, we start out by looking at Amazon and saying, what's selling well that needs more sellers? And there are a lot of products that are selling really well that need more sellers. I just interviewed someone on our podcast not too long ago She jumped onto a listing that had 125 other sellers on it, 125 people selling the exact same item. And she was making a killing selling it. So much of that product was selling, and it was so easily available near her. She shipped in as much of it as she could, and it was selling as fast as she could get her hands on it. We teach you how to find those kinds of products. They're available locally. They're still on store shelves. You can easily access them. They're worth a whole lot more in some parts of the world than they are in other parts of the world. Some regions of the United States, it's abundantly available. Other regions, it's sold out. You learn to find those ASINs and serve those ASINs alongside, in many cases, other sellers. It can be an incredible business model. So that's a handful of the really big advantages. Another advantage of waiting until you're very mature as an Amazon seller, and I would say making $10,000, $20,000 or more in sales per month before you even think about starting to try private label. One of the other big reasons is because something they don't tell you, when your private label product starts to succeed on Amazon, we've seen it over and over and over again so many times. I've interviewed again a handful of students from this community. You've heard them on this podcast who have said, well, I started to have some private label success, but as soon as my ASIN started doing really well, guess what happened? 12, 15, 30 competitors selling the exact same thing, tweaked a little bit, maybe a slightly different package, slightly different label. A Chinese manufacturer flooded the market with a cheap version of the exact same thing and out-marketed me and took away my niche. So it was a little spike and it was fun while it lasted. And now I've got a garage full of the item. Hey, quick interruption. We'll get back to the show in just a moment, but I want to make sure you know about the Proven Conference coming up August 12th through 14th, 2022 in Louisville, Kentucky. Join hundreds of your fellow business building warriors, the same people who listen to this podcast, the successful students you've heard interviewed, the coaches on our team. There's over 60 of them. We're all going to go, hundreds of us, to Louisville, Kentucky, August 12th through 14th. We want you there. Come hang out. Be a part of this incredible community. We've done this several times in the past. It gets better every single time. It's unlike any other conference you've ever been to because the stage and all the breakout sessions are comprised of the great leaders and students from our own community. We don't bring in outside experts that you could go watch on YouTube anytime you want. No, we are putting on stage the people that you'd love to meet face to face. It's an event unlike any you've ever attended. It will change your life. August 12th through 14th, 2022 in Louisville, Kentucky. See theprovenconference.com for details. Theprovenconference.com. There's a link in the show notes as well. Okay, let's get back to the program. So it was a little spike and it was fun while it lasted. And now I've got a garage full of the item. Are you ready for that kind of challenge? Are you seriously ready to step into that arena yet? Maybe you are. That's beautiful. Like I said, we've got many clients who have stepped successfully into that arena. But if you were to go to YouTube right now and say, I want to make money on Amazon, somebody teach me how to sell on Amazon, you're going to be inundated with video after video after video, thousands of them, most of which, by the way, are affiliates looking to make a commission off of you who don't sell on Amazon, but they want you to buy an Amazon seller course so they can get their 50% affiliate commission on that $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 course you're about to buy. They're pushing you towards private label. Why is that? Well, I've just identified one really big reason why you're seeing so much of that, because you can justify a very expensive price on your course if you're teaching somebody a 6 or 9 month process. And a lot of people fall for it. And all they need is a 2 or 3% success rate, a handful of success stories to keep you strung along on the process, saying, yeah, maybe it'll work for me. Maybe it'll work for me. And you're not going to know for 6 to 9 months if it worked for you. And then even once it does start to work, it's probably not going to work very long. They don't tell you that part. Now, again, we teach private label strategies. We have an entire company that does branding and trademark and helps with intellectual property and setting up your listings with A+ content. And it's phenomenal. Best in the industry, I would argue. We've worked with some of the biggest private label success story companies that you can talk to, that you can go on Amazon and you can see them selling in the top 5, top 10. One of the top 10 best-selling grocery items last year was one of our clients. We understand private label, but we don't push private label on the masses. Why? Because it's irresponsible to do so. Your odds of success are thin at best. until you understand how the game is played. Here's the last bit of evidence I'll leave you with for your consideration. We have a sponsor in our community. They love sponsoring us. They love working with the clients in our community. They've helped fund many people in our community with funding to help them grow their business. They attend a lot of the events for Amazon sellers. There's many events out there that you can choose from. By the way, ours is coming up in August 12th through 14th, 2022 in Louisville, Kentucky. Plan to join us. Details are at theprovenconference.com. Would love to have you come join us there. But they attend many of these events. And when they have new sellers come up to them and say, hey, I've got some money. I want to invest in private label. Can you guys help fund me? They say, whoa, slow down. We don't just dump our money into risky endeavors. You need to go learn the basics first. You need to jump over and listen to some episodes of Silent Sales Machine Radio. You need to learn the replens model. You need to get your feet wet. You need to make some profit taking those tiny risks and ramping up. Then you'll be qualified and you'll understand the marketplace and you'll have a great shot at launching a private label model. And that whole process unfolds very organically, by the way. As you start to sell in different categories, you're experimenting with just a little bit of depth, a handful of units of each of these different ASINs that you're selling. You'll start to see these niche pockets of opportunity that are all around you. And you can start to dive into those. You don't need an expensive software to help you find a niche market. You're going to stumble and they're going to smack you right in the face. Then you can go in a little deeper if you'd like. So that's what some of the smartest money in our industry is telling new prospects. No, we're not going to give you $40,000 and hope that it works out 9 months from now so you can go launch your private label of your dream. Good luck. Try to find someone willing to fund that. Whereas in our community, we have funding chasing our students, literally chasing our students, saying, hey, can we give you some money, please? Obviously, you've got a working business model. We'd love to give you more money and partner up with you and work from an investor vantage point as a support to your business. We have a handful of them chasing our students. So what's it going to be? Have I convinced you? Have I talked you into at least considering the other business model that's not talked about so much? And why isn't it talked about as much? Well, the reason is you can't charge people thousands of dollars for a course that teaches skills that they can learn in probably 3 to 5 hours, most people. There's always more to learn. There's always new strategies. There's always new techniques and things you're going to add into your business over time. The Proven Amazon course grows with you, but it's $29 per month. No affiliates get excited over that. They just don't. There's no one out there cranking out YouTube content trying to talk people into splitting $29 a month with us. They just don't care. They're trying to make their $2,000, $3,000 per hit cut teaching people private label. And that's just the dirty little secret of the industry. The numbers bear it out. I think I've provided a good amount of proof and evidence for you today. Here's one other thing I'll leave you with. Our Facebook, if you go in there, we've got tagged approximately 1,300 posts from our students saying, hey, look what happened today. My first $500 day, my first $1,000 day, my first $20,000 month. Those kind of posts popping in constantly. Hundreds of success stories from our coaching students tagged. You can scroll through these right in our free Facebook group. Listen to this podcast. Dozens and dozens of recent success story testimonials from people building incredible businesses. And in many, many cases, if they're not turnkey yet, they're heading in that direction quickly, meaning a virtual assistant is doing all the work. You're not going to find that with any of the other business models out there. So we've got people, I think the most virtual assistants I've heard of is 7 or 8 VAs running the entire process. They're doing the sourcing, looking for products. They're doing the shopping, buying them. They're making sure the product is shipped to the prep center. Prep center does all the work, sends it in. They've got another virtual assistant monitoring the account, looking for account health or issues that have arisen from customer returns, that sort of thing, monitoring. So the entire business is reduced to monitoring a report. We've got a couple that travels the country in an RV. A couple, I mentioned them earlier, a couple of our coaches. That's how they run their business. It's a team of virtual assistants. Actually, they're creating content for us on how they do it too. That's coming soon. I've got an entire board right over here to my left full of the great projects, the great content that's coming to help you as part of your Proven Amazon course subscription, provenamazoncourse.com. $29 a month. You get all the new content that we have. We're never going to shove you in the direction of a high risk, high investment, low odds of success strategy like private label as a new seller. We just won't do it. I personally think it's irresponsible until the statistics start to turn around, until somebody really dials it in better than I've seen it done yet. I'm not a big fan. I'm not winning a lot of friends by saying this, by the way, if you hadn't noticed. You're not going to hear a lot of people saying, yeah, you should go, hey, we sell private label courses here, but you should go listen to Jim instead. Hear what he's saying over there. $29 a month is better than what we're doing. You're just not going to hear that. But I challenge you to consider the facts and the evidence. Don't just listen to me. Go do your own research, see what students are saying, jump in the Facebook group, see how transparent they are about who's really failing around here. How many winning success stories are we seeing? How consistent are new students succeeding? Or I think the best evidence is this podcast itself. I think that's the best evidence you could possibly look at. Just scroll back through page after page of testimonial success story interviews with our coaching students, with our proven Amazon course students. Let that do the talking. I can stay completely silent Jim, and let you do your own research. All right. Hey, one last reminder as we start to jump off of here. You know what? I got another example I'm going to give you. Sorry, we'll do that. And then I got one last announcement. Go back if you haven't listened to podcast episode 431 yet. That's an episode that has gotten a lot of people excited lately. She's creating some content. That's Leah Maudlin. She's creating some content for us right now. She's a coach on our team now. She's doing incredible work. She never sees, never touches her inventory. She did $500,000 last year. She's going to do $1 million this year. It's completely automated. I'm trying to convince her to turn over the process of even shopping and sourcing to virtual assistants. There's no reason she shouldn't at this point. She's just left her full-time job. She's going full-time in, helping us educate this community based on this incredible model that she's built. I think you'll find it very inspiring, a truly turnkey, just yet another example of a turnkey Amazon model. She had zero selling experience, zero e-commerce experience before she started into the proven Amazon course and the replen strategy that we teach. Would love to have you come do that. One last little thing, then we'll wrap up. If you go to our private Facebook group, it's free. There's a link at silentjim.com. You will see a video at the top of the group in the featured section, right in the top. There's like some welcome videos and such. It says 99% of all new sellers should start with replens. There's a 20-minute video there. Go watch it. I'll stick it in the show notes for you as well. Go watch that video. It explains how simple this concept is. Am I saying business is easy? No. Am I saying you could build a turnkey system if you follow the instructions? Absolutely yes. We've got plenty of people doing just that. That's what we want for you. Does it work 100% of the time? Can't promise that. I don't know your work ethic. I don't know your commitment. I don't know how much time you have. I don't know if you've got some capital to spend on some startup inventory. I don't know what else you've got going on in your life, how focused and disciplined you are. It takes blood, sweat, and tears to do anything significant. But just like our coach Robin said recently, this is low, high. Low risk, low investment needed, low learning curve, very high odds of success compared to all the other models out there. So that's my rant. And finally, to the last point that I was started to tell you a couple times ago before I interrupted myself twice, come to our event in August 12th through 14th. We want you there. I want to meet you. It's not thousands of people. We'll have a chance to have a conversation. I'd love to get to know you. I'd love to chat. I'd love for you to get to know some of the coaches on our team. We've got about 60 coaches at this point and hundreds of the success story students that you've heard on this podcast. Many of them will be there, people from all over the world using the internet creatively to launch and grow great businesses. That's what this community is all about, is supporting each other, growing great businesses, staying flexible, multiple streams of income. And I think we're the most creative Amazon seller community in the world by far. I think the facts, data, and evidence support that. So thanks for coming and being a part of our event. Again, August 12th through 14th. Get the link at theprovenconference.com. Hope to see you there. God bless. We'll do another episode real soon.